Good morning. My name is Dean Philpott. I was fortunate enough to start a business in 1987 called Nonsense. Nonsense was about selling natural zeolites to people for all different types of uses. One of the first things we did, and we were relatively successful right out of the get-go. But one of the things we were able to do is we were able to hire a PhD petrologist, a rock doctor, to study uses for natural zeolite. There had been other people that had tried the business at the time, but nobody had ever been successful or made a profit at it. And that was one of the benefits we had was we were able to hire Dr. Paul Roper. One of the first things Dr. Roper did was travel to a conference in Cuba. And at this conference in Cuba, he was able to sit down and talk to Russian scientists that were uh, experts as zeolites and were very, very primary in implementing procedures after the Chernobyl incident. One thing you're going to find out is if you do a little study or you check out the old videos of Chernobyl, you're going to notice that people are helicopters flying over and people dumping out all types of materials. Well, one of the primary materials they used was natural zeolite. It was a zeolite called clinotillite. Clinotillite was also added to things like candy bars for children to help them eliminate the radioactive nuclei from their body. It's very, very effective especially with cesium. Uh, and they also used it. They also used it to filter milk. They added it to animal feed in places like Lapland to uh, remove the radionuclei from the bodies of the animals, so they could continue to use the milk and the meat byproducts. Uh, and this clinotillite is real interesting stuff. Now, what you want to do, or what I do, let me put it that way because I'm not a doctor and I can't really give you any medical recommendations. Let me tell you what I'm doing. I buy a product called Sweet PZD. It's available at places like Tractor Supply, and if they don't have it on hand, they can order it for you. Um, it's called a stall freshener. The type of zeolite that you want to use is a product called clinotillite. Uh, I'll spell that. I'll put it on the screen here for you so you can do a little further research on it. And please don't believe anything I say. Just use it as stimulus to go do some more additional research. But what I'll do is I'll take about 5 or 10 pounds of the zeolite that I buy, the sweet PZD. I will put it in a shallow baking dish, stick it in the oven, turn it on about 400 degrees for 45 minutes to an hour. And in the middle of the process, I'll crack the oven for just a minute and let the steam rise. Uh, this There's water in this product, or interstitial water in it, and the heating process eliminates that. In fact, zeolite means boiling rock. It's a volcanic ash that is crystallized in an old lake bed, and over the centuries, uh, you've had it's been purified by rainwater, and a lot of the uh, constituents have been basically cleaned up. And this is a relatively clean product, or a very clean product as far as I'm concerned. This particular product that we use comes out of Winston, New Mexico, and you could like I said, you can find out about it. And I've got no connections with these people anymore. The sweet peas is just a good source of this zeolite that's readily available and it's cheap. And my you know I would I'd go out and buy at least a couple bags of it, put it in storage, and bake out some for water purification if the need ever arises. Uh, I'd use a tablespoon or a teaspoon in a large container of water, stir it up real good, let it settle out, let the heavy stuff settle on the bottom, take maybe the first 3 quarters, for drinking water. I throw the rest out on my garden, the residual out on my garden to use it to help clean that up too. So you've got a good bang for your buck there. Uh, but Dr. Roper, came back with all this information. I've seen a lot of this information converged on the internet, and I would research climatolite. I would research Chernobyl. I would research Russian uses of natural zeolite. Um, I would also research British Nuclear bought 6 million metric tons of it a few years back to to purify the water coming out of their nuclear plants, and that particular product was modified a little bit, but I wouldn't worry about that because your effectiveness won't be as high on strontium, but it takes very little. It would take a very small amount to filter it out. Filter it out. Uh, I was blessed to be able to travel the world and show people about the uses for natural zeolites, and we had distributors all over the world, and it was always interesting and challenging. One of the trips I took was a trip to Japan, and I spent some time in Tokyo and Osaka talking to people, and found out they have some sources of natural zeolite there too, or climatolite that might be beneficial for them to use too. Uh, and we made a business decision not to go into business over there, but uh, it was a very interesting. It was a very interesting trip, and I hope to see them use a lot of natural zeolites to try to solve some of these problems and get their food food business back into shape. But you check it out, you're going to find out that uh, it's been added to feedstocks for all types of livestock, including chickens and chickens and cattle, for a long time. They can tolerate a 5 to 10% of the food weight that they consume every day without any problems. Unlike sodium bentonite clay, which has some toxicity at smaller levels, and yeah, you know, for God's sakes, if this is it's a product manufactured by God, and you don't get any better than that. And it's got a purpose and a use, and you might be able to save some lives. God bless. Hang in there. Yeah, just keep on going, folks. That's all we got. Bye bye.